You know, many of us walk around feeling burdened by our problems, convinced they're real and daunting. But let me tell you something. What if your problems don't actually exist? Most people spend their lives battling with their thoughts and frustrations, thinking they are struggling against external forces. But here's what they don't realize. These are merely illusions, conjured by the mind. Think about it this way. How often do you find yourself waking up each day, putting on the armor of stress and anxiety, ready to fight another battle with the chaos of life? You wake up, your mind races with the demands of the day, and suddenly, you're thrust into a battlefield. But what if, instead of a battlefield, your life is merely a stage? When I say life is like a theater, I mean to say that our thoughts, those tangled scripts we play out every day, can transform our experiences into performances we don't even know we're directing. You see, instead of being actors in our own lives, we often find ourselves as mere audience members, observing the chaos while forgetting we hold the pen. It's as if we've become spectators of a drama that plays out without our consent, with emotions clashing and fears erupting like a poorly orchestrated play. In this theater, the protagonist, the hero of your own story, is stuck behind invisible bars, believing in a narrative that confines them. And so many feel overwhelmed, imprisoned by anxiety, bound by beliefs that tell them they're not enough. I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. When was the last time you felt overwhelmed by something that, in hindsight, turned out to be a trick of the mind? Perhaps it was a conversation you dreaded, or an opportunity you hesitated to seize, convinced that the odds were stacked against you. Each time you found yourself lost in those spirals of thought, you added another layer to the illusion. Let me tell you about someone I knew, a friend who was caught in a relentless cycle of perfectionism. This person obsessed over flaws in their life, convinced that happiness was a distant, unattainable destination. Their thoughts became a ceaseless loop of self-doubt and criticism, always pointing to what was wrong instead of what could be. They fixated on every shortcoming, every stumble, as if life were a relentless test with only one failing grade. And what happened was a cycle of disappointment that held them captive, spiraling further into despair, shadows thickening around their once bright spirit. But the moment you understand that your mind is the architect of these illusions, everything changes. This is the crucial turning point, not because the world alters, but because your perspective shifts. When you cultivate a deeper awareness, you begin to see beyond the distractions. You stop reacting to the illusions and start living in the realm of possibility. You discover that your mind, with all its frantic energy, is not your enemy. It's like a garden waiting for your careful tending. Imagine for a moment, if you were to cultivate this garden consciously, you could choose what flourishes within it. Powerfully, you have the ability to plant seeds of resilience, compassion, and hope. And this is what society won't tell you. To transcend your problems is to awaken to a deeper truth, that you are not your thoughts. You see, you have the innate ability to separate from those swirling worries and begin to nurture the genuine possibilities that exist within you. Now, as we stand at the edge of this realization, I invite you to explore this path with me. Let's take a step back, shall we? Let's pull back the curtain of illusion fraying at the edges. Together, we can begin to uncover the wisdom that most never dare to discover, the kind that reveals the freedom lying just beneath the surface of our fears, waiting patiently for us to recognize it. But before we venture deeper, take a moment to breathe, to acknowledge that this journey isn't just mine, it's yours too. Are you ready to join me in this exploration, to challenge the apparent realities that have kept you captive? Because, my friend, the journey ahead is one of profound awakening and liberation. It's the beginning of reclaiming your power, and it all starts with understanding that those burdens you carry, they're not as solid as they appear, not if you choose to see them differently. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. As we dive deeper into this conversation, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how the patterns in your life seem to repeat? You see, there's a psychological mechanism behind this. Our thoughts, when given too much power, create a reality that feels unshakable. You might feel trapped in a cycle of negativity, endlessly chasing after the solutions that always seem to elude you. But here's what happens in your mind when this cycle begins. It creates a trap, an echo chamber of fear and self-doubt that influences how you perceive every situation. What you're experiencing is something profoundly shared among us. Understanding that your mind plays tricks on you can open the door to liberation. When your thoughts spiral out of control, you may find yourself reacting impulsively, believing that these chaotic narratives reflect truth. You think, "I can't do this," or "I'm not enough," and in that moment, your mind has taken the reins. It's vital to remember that those thoughts don't define your capabilities or your worth, but all too often, we unknowingly give them power. And so you spend years exhausting yourself, caught in the relentless pursuit of fixing something that was never broken. Let me tell you about my friend again, the one I mentioned earlier. This friend, paralyzed by their own fear of failure, spent an extraordinary amount of time on social media, trying to measure themselves against a fabricated standard of success. The images and stories they observed constantly replayed in their mind, reinforcing the belief that they would never measure up. What's fascinating and deeply tragic is that this kind of habitual comparison creates a false narrative. With every moment they spent in that mental space, they sunk deeper into despair. It's the perfect illustration of how your mental landscape can become a breeding ground for negativity. Imagine a garden overrun with weeds. What happens when you neglect it? It withers, choked by the excess that dominates without care. The same applies to your mind. When you allow those negative thoughts to flourish unchecked, they eventually overwhelm the garden of your potential. This is something we must confront, the hidden costs of allowing illusions to dictate our experience. The emotional toll is undeniable, leading to relationships strained by fear of vulnerability, careers stunted by self-doubt, and a life lived in a constant state of tension. But, my friend, here's what's really going on beneath the surface. Your thoughts, those familiar companions that tell you who you are, often carry whispers of past failures and insecurities. Swiftly, they weave intricate tapestries that remind you of every moment you stumbled. And what's the truth buried within those uncomfortable narratives? The deeper layer that most don't acknowledge? It's the realization that those thoughts are not who you truly are. They are mere reflections, poor imitations of your authentic self, designed by past experiences and negative conditioning. Now here's what changes everything. The moment you decide to take back your narrative, your life begins to shift. By choosing to step into the fullness of your power, you can reframe those haunting stories from a purely observational standpoint. You can look at them as just thoughts, clouds passing through a vast sky, rather than storms that must be weathered. So what do you actually do with this understanding? First, I invite you to cultivate awareness. Start noticing when you're stuck in a cycle of negativity. What triggers it? How does it manifest in your emotional state and in your interactions? This is not about judging yourself. It's about gathering insights on how to step away from those harmful patterns. You see, the journey isn't linear. You may falter, and that's perfectly fine. It's the willingness to engage with yourself that opens the door to transformation. Then, as you cultivate that awareness, I encourage you to implement practices that will nurture your mental garden. This could be as simple as keeping a gratitude journal or engaging in mindfulness meditation. You see, when you focus on gratitude, you begin to bloom in ways you never expected. You start to redirect the energy that once fed your fears into something life-giving. Just like watering a garden ensures that flowers thrive, gratitude nurtures your spirit, inviting joy to take root. Let me share a story about another person I know. She initially struggled with anxiety that stemmed from her childhood. The moment she began to meditate, she noticed how her thoughts would race, chaotic narratives replaying prior disappointments. But through consistent practice, she gradually learned to observe her thoughts without judgment, recognizing them as clouds that could drift away at any moment. As she leaned into the stillness, she revealed layers of herself that had long been dormant. With each passing day, she cultivated her garden of hope, planting seeds of self-compassion, beauty, and possibility. Soon she felt the shift. Fear didn't evaporate, but she learned to dance with those shadows, recognizing them as part of her. And here's where the paradox lies. The more she nurtured her garden, the more resilient she became to those nagging thoughts. The resilience gave way to inner strength that was always there, waiting for her to uncover it. As you embark on this journey of transformation, understand that each thought has its place. Some deserve to be held onto, while others need to be released. The choice is yours. And once you grasp this truth, that you are not merely a product of your thoughts, you begin to step into your rightful power. You begin to recognize that the real beauty in this journey is the authenticity you cultivate, the wisdom born from experience, and the clarity that emerges when you finally engage with the world as your true self. So as we move deeper into this exploration, visualize yourself in that garden, standing tall among the blossoming thoughts that enrich your life. You are the creator of your reality, And with every decision to nurture the positive, you draw closer to a life of abundance. Prepare yourself, for we are just at the beginning, and it's going to be a powerful journey ahead. Let's take a moment to settle into this understanding, because this is where transformation truly crystallizes. You see, when you genuinely understand this journey, when you grasp the profound distinction between being a passive recipient of your thoughts and an active creator of your life, everything shifts. Imagine the difference. You are no longer at the mercy of your mind's chaos. Instead, you find the calm within the storm. Here's the beauty of your awakening. As you step into your power and take ownership of your narrative, you begin to interact with the world in a new way. No longer are you simply reacting to the situations around you. Instead, each moment becomes an opportunity to assert your presence and direction. It's like moving from a passenger in a car to taking the driver's seat. Now let's explore how to practically nurture this mindset every day. Start by embracing mindfulness. Each morning, when your eyes open, take a moment to breathe deeply and visualize your mental garden. Picture every thought as a seed. Examine your intentions and desires carefully. Ask yourself, which seeds do I want to nurture today? You hold the power to decide. You don't have to carry every burden that comes your way. Like a gardener, you can actively choose to prune the negative thoughts while fostering the positive ones. And in this act of choosing, you'll notice your sense of identity begin to transform profoundly. Each thought nurtured leads to empowerment, while every harmful belief released makes room for growth. Let's revisit my friend who struggled with anxiety. Initially, she found herself consumed by shadows, drowning in a tide of negativity. However, she made a pivotal choice, a choice to rewrite her story. When she decided to practice mindfulness, she learned that her fears were not insurmountable walls, they were rather small hills to climb. This insight empowered her actions, prompting her to seek uplifting spaces and surround herself with supportive individuals, all the while letting go of toxic energy. In nurturing those good thoughts, she discovered the magic of gratitude. Each day she focused on 3 new things she was grateful for. It wasn't just a routine, it became a profound shift in her perception. Gratitude transformed her experience, allowing her to replace self-doubt with self-worth. This simple practice illuminated her path, enriching her life beyond what she had imagined. As days turned into weeks, she found joy in everyday moments, the warmth of her morning coffee, the sound of laughter, the beauty of nature. The paradox is beautiful. When you turn inward, reclaiming your narrative, the universe aligns to meet you. Synchronicities become apparent. A chance meeting that sparks insight, a book that offers exactly what you need, or an unexpected opportunity that aligns with your passions. Now, let's talk about potential obstacles. Understand this. People may not always understand your evolution. Friends, family, even acquaintances might question your decisions. Remember, though, that their judgments are not your responsibility. You don't owe them your conformity. You are blossoming into your unique self, and that can be intimidating to those who remain in their comfort zones. Stand firm and embrace this truth. You are on a path that many fear to walk. As you continue nurturing those empowering thoughts, you'll naturally encourage others to reflect on their own journeys. Each choice you make to cultivate positivity could inspire someone else to do the same. As you explore your garden of possibilities, you'll soon notice the incredible truth. The universe supports your transformation. You'll feel the burdens beginning to lift as you embrace the present moment. With each brave choice made, you become more attuned to the varied shades of joy that emerge when you engage with life authentically. And let's not forget the vital lesson. Transformation isn't about achieving perfection. It's about honoring your unique process and recognizing that each moment, whether it brings joy or challenge, contributes to the richness of your tapestry. Don't shy away from feeling. Own every emotion as a companion. Each fear faced is an invitation to learn more about your true self. Imagine standing before a fear that once loomed large in your mind. You could retreat, but what if you decided to confront it? In that moment, you can either relinquish your power or seize it. The choice rests with you, and when you embrace that choice, you find liberation. You learn you can rise above the narrative that once held you captive. As you engage in this journey, remember to embrace the gradual unfolding of your transformation. Visualize yourself walking through that mental garden, nurturing each radiant thought as if it were an essential part of your journey. You are the creator of your experience, and every decision is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Take heart, for the journey ahead is filled with possibilities yet to unfold. Each thought you cultivate, every intention you set, is an act of defiance against the mundane, a celebration of your journey. So let's move forward in this exploration together, creating a life that reflects your brilliance, your truth, and your beauty. This is just the beginning, and I invite you to embrace every moment of your awakening. What lies ahead is a powerful transformation, and it's yours to claim. So let's bring all of this full circle. Remember at the beginning when we talked about the journey of transformation, we explored the power of choice and the beauty of nurturing your mental garden. Now, as we stand at the crossroads of your awakening, it's crucial to synthesize all these threads into a cohesive understanding of what this all means. You see, the key takeaway from our exploration is this: you have absolute permission to be authentic. You are not beholden to the expectations of others, nor obligated to conform to their visions of success or happiness. You are allowed to chart your own course, to walk in your own rhythm, and to honor your unique path. Liberation comes from recognizing that you have the power to choose what aligns with your innermost truth. This is not merely a theoretical concept, it's the essence of what it means to live fully. When you allow yourself to emerge and to express your authenticity, you create a ripple effect that inspires others. Imagine being a beacon of light in a world that craves authenticity, where your courage encourages someone else to step into their own power. In this way, your journey is far more than a personal evolution. It becomes a communal awakening. Now let's reframe the initial fears you may have faced. What if those fears that once seemed insurmountable were, in fact, invitations for deeper exploration? You may have thought of them as obstacles, but what if they are merely thresholds to something greater? Each time you confront a fear, it's an opportunity for growth, a chance to gain insight into your true self. As you look back at the fears you faced, acknowledge how they shaped you. Reflect on those moments when you chose to step up instead of backing down. Those pivotal instances are the fabric of your journey. You're rewriting the script, letting go of the limiting beliefs that once held you captive. The truth is, every time you face a fear, you dismantle the illusion that you are limited. Permit yourself to envision this. What does a life free from fear look like? Picture the vibrant possibilities that await you. You can climb that mountain of potential, breaking through layers of self-doubt. You are capable of achieving greatness, not because of certain external validations, but because of the strength that resides within you. There's something beautifully poetic in this journey. You've cultivated resilience, patience, and empathy. These qualities anchor you in times of uncertainty. As you weave these traits into the tapestry of your life, you attract opportunities that align with your newfound energy. The universe responds to your vibration, meeting you where you are and opening doors you didn't know existed. As you cultivate your authenticity, the connections you foster become deeper. You may find that relationships shift too. Some may strengthen, while others fade. This is a natural part of the evolving journey. Honoring your truth will draw your tribe closer, those who resonate with your authentic self and inspire you in return. And this is key: never underestimate the power of your voice. Speak your truth into the universe. Affirm your intentions daily, whether through quiet contemplation or declarations made out loud. Let each word be a seed planted in the soil of your mind, nurtured by the energy you invest in this process. As we bring this script to a close, I invite you to embody the wisdom gained on this journey. Understand that this is not merely an endpoint. It's an invitation to continually evolve. Each new day is a blank canvas, an opportunity to reflect on how far you've come while envisioning where you want to go next. So I encourage you to step into your power fully. Recognize the beauty in every part of your narrative, the struggles, the triumphs, and everything in between. Remember, you are the architect of your life. The choices you make resonate far beyond yourself. They ripple outwards, touching and transforming the lives of those around you. In this journey, you are not alone. We're all part of a larger tapestry, weaving together the stories of our lives. Trust that as you rise, you uplift not only yourself, but also those who may still be searching for their own light. Embrace your brilliance, for it is just the beginning of something extraordinary. Take a moment now to breathe it all in. Feel the empowerment coursing through you, that indomitable spirit urging you to rise. Every step you take furthers the journey of not just awakening yourself, but awakening the world around you. So here's to your transformation. May it be vibrant, bold, and unrestrained. Are you ready? Because the journey awaits, and it is yours to claim.